What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're not going to be doing detailing. We're going to be doing something a little different. If you're new to my channel and you don't know, I am a full-time mechanic, so I detail as a hobbyist or a car enthusiast, whatever you want to call it. I am not a professional detailer. I am a mechanic for a living. So, as you guys seen in my last video, this is my 98 GSX, aka the Dark Knight. The GSX, for those who don't know, is a Mitsubishi or a DSM, Diamond Star Motors. I'm currently, right now, going to be installing this. I've had it for 6 months, so it's about time I put it in. I just wanted to give you guys a quick rundown of what led me here to having to put this bad boy in. Basically, I'm not going to go into full details on the car because once I get it done, I will do another video on it. I know I had a subscriber, want to know a little bit more about the car. Basically, it is a stock block 7-bolt. It is running a Han Super 20G comp 101-200s or FP2s, whatever you want to call them. Titanium springs and retainers from Crower. Yeah, I know they're not the best, but that's what I got. Yeah, I know your setup's probably better, but this is what I got. It is E85 tuned. Basically all the supporting mods, fuel pump, I think it's a Walbro 255, all stock fuel lines, no issues for the most part of 8 months. Surprisingly, it's pretty dry under here. If you guys haven't seen yet, this is my shop. Here's my toolbox, my workstation. I got my little Harbor Freight cart here. This little thing deals. Oh, and these little trays right here, magnetic trays, I stick them to the lid. I can put all my bolts in there, keep everything organized. It's awesome. I love it. Anyways, back to the DSM. So, like I said, it's pretty much stock block 20G, tuned on the 85 with cams. I'm running ECM Link V3. I'll go into more details about everything else in another video. However, the first time we went to tune it, the head lifted and I blew the head gasket because I was on stock head bolts. Because I was being lazy and I didn't want to take my ARP head studs and put them in. I wanted to just hurry up and tune the car so I could drive it and enjoy it, because I haven't had it for that long at the time. Needless to say, we were tuning it and yeah, head lifted at around 23.5 pounds on the 20G. So yeah, I had to rip the head off basically. That's when I installed my cams and springs and retainers, so I had to pull the head off anyways. Like I said, I'll do a way more in-depth video once I get the car back running. I had the FP2s in it, but I didn't have the springs and retainers, none of that. I just dropped it in, and that's of course after doing all the maintenance on the car. When I got the car, the guy thought it had a bad diff and a bad transfer case because it was making all this noise. I said, you know what, I don't care. I came across the car for a great price. I wasn't looking for it. I've been a DSM owner for 15 years. I had a GST, which is right here, crumbled up on the side of my shop because some drunk lady decided to total it. So yeah, I'll see if I can remember to throw some pictures up of it get totaled and how bad it was. I'll also try to throw some pictures up of this thing when I first got it. It did not look the way it does now. Obviously, the wheels that are on it are not the wheels that came on it. These we had paint matched, yada yada yada. Back to what led me here. So after I fixed the blown head gasket, I did it right. That's when I put in the ARP head studs that I should have put in. I know I know. But yeah, needless to say, lesson learned. For all of you that are yelling, oh, don't forget maintenance. I did all the maintenance along with 2 left side wheel bearings. That was the noise that the guy was hearing. So I lucked out, and it was just 2 left side wheel bearings. I put 2 new OEM wheel bearings in it, and it is silent. So I scored there. I did all the maintenance, timing belt, water pump, all new seals, all OEM. If you own a DSM, do not go cheap, okay? Do not go cheap. If it's something easy, fine. But if it's something you got to take the whole front of the motor apart to do, don't cheap out, because you don't want to do that twice. Trust me. Oh, and I want to share this with you guys, you DSMers out there. For 15 years, I did my timing belt without these. This is the cam tool to lock the cam gears, and this is the tool that lets you rotate your eccentric pulley to set the tension on the timing belt. Buy that tool. I don't care if you just bought a DSM or if you had it for 10 years. If you don't got it, buy that tool. It makes it so easy. I can set my timing belt tension in less than 5 minutes, and it's boom, it's set. But yeah, I did all the maintenance, all the fluids. I did the tranny, the T-case, the rear diff, like I said, timing belt, water pump. Obviously I had to put the head back on. I decked the block. The head was redone, completely redone. Put it all back on. At the same time, I ported manifold with a 1G throttle body, blah blah blah, Bosch 2200s, ECM Link V3, E85 tune. Went back to my tuner, we started tuning it, and the moment we turned it up to about 26 pounds, clutch slit. So that's why I'm here now. I have been driving it for a while. I had to turn it back down to around 22, 23 pounds. Still a really fun car. While we were tuning, it was estimated like 376. That is with ECM Link estimated, so it could be 376, it could be 320, it could be 350. I don't know. I don't really care, because it runs like a champ and it pulls very strong, and I'm happy with it. So yeah, I'm gonna be taking you along the journey with me of doing the clutch install. Normally I start from the top and I work my way to the bottom. Now I'm starting from the bottom, working my way from the top to the top. Sorry if you guys can't see. Let me get my light. Hold on, you know what? Get my little blue point light. This little light right here. It's awesome. So, DSMers, all-wheel drive. This is my first time. My other one was a GST, so this is my first time doing all-wheel drive. It's really easy. You got to pull the axles for one. Pull the axle nut. Pull your little 17 millimeters down here out of the bottom of the this ball joint right here, 17s. You pop those out. You take your 2 14s that are here that bolt the axle bracket. Yeah, I got a little bit of an oil pan leak right there. That's all right. I also got axle seal a little bit leaking here. I got all new axle seals too for while I'm doing this. But yeah, you pop the axles out, and then there's one. Do this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry about that, guys. I accidentally hit the button. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts that hold your transfer case in. They're all 17 millimeters. They're all different lengths. Well, I want to say one or two of them are different lengths. So what I did was just numbered them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, they're only going to go in one place, but it just helps me remember. But yeah, and then you just pry it off a little bit, and it pops off there. And then you just tie up your drive shaft. You don't even got to worry about that. And then, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I just got the axles popped out, drive shaft out, all the fluids are drained. Now I'm taking out my clutch slave because I'm going to be replacing it with an OEM unit here. I got all my parts from Extreme PSI. I got a brand new OEM rear main seal. I've got ARP flywheel bolts. I've got a OEM throwout bearing. If you're new to DSMs and you're watching this, I don't care what clutch kit you use an OEM throwout bearing. I've learned the hard way, trust me. I've got this is my parts drawer from my old DSM. I've got a whole bunch of stuff in here. I've got a forged clutch fork and pivot ball I'm gonna be throwing in, and this is my parts box from my old DSM. Got a brand new bare valve cover there. I'm gonna have the PCV modified and fittings on that eventually in the future. I'll do a video on that. Here it is. I've got the, sorry about that, guys. Got the steel braided clutch line all the way from the master to the slave. I'm gonna be throwing in there. So yeah, back to the car. I'm gonna be removing my accumulator, I guess that's what they call it, and I'm just gonna be running straight from the master down to the slave, because I'm just gonna do it that way, get you better clutch feel, better clutch pedal feel. Yeah, that's my little Han 20G. Yeah, I know, Han 20G, people badmouth it, but honestly, it's a bad little street turbo. Eventually, when the time comes, I'm gonna be switching to either an FP, one of the FP turbos, whether it be a green, a red, a black, maybe even a 68 HTA. I don't know. It depends on, you know, what route I want to go, but I'm not worried about that right now. So yeah. Also, once you remove your cross member, which is this guy right here, once you remove that, you got a 17mm bolts there. You got to remove the rear engine mount bracket back here. You got a 14mm nut and bolt goes to the center, and then you got three 17mm. Hopefully you guys can see 17 there. You got a little 17 there, and there's another 17 on the other side. Be careful when you pull the bracket out, because you got your sensor there. You don't want to damage it. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's really not a bad job. Really not a bad job at all, as long as you got the tools and the patience to do it. All right, so I've pretty much finished everything at the bottom. So now I'm going to start at the top. Remove the intake. Remove my upper intercooler piping here. Take the battery and the battery tray out. The good thing about ECM Link V3 Full is I can disconnect the battery and it saves my tune. I don't have to worry about it. I have done it already. I've changed the battery, no issues. There's my little 20G. I am running the Fuel Lab air fuel pressure regulator. I'm running the upgraded fuel line from the top of the fuel filter up into the rail. I am running the AEM Uego wideband. No issues at all. My tuner's got it dialed. It's reading accurately in ECM Link. I know there's a lot of people that have issues with it, but I don't. It's running. This came with the car. This whole turbo setup came with the car, so I'm seeing what I can do on it. You can see the head is fairly new. Like I said, I'm gonna try to throw some pictures up, because I got a lot of pictures of, you know, the install on the head and whatnot. So yeah, I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna pull some of this stuff out of the way, make a little more progress, and we're one step closer to pulling the clutch out. I didn't mention it. This is a comp stage 3 2600. Sorry about that. Got my music all blasting over here. It's a comp stage 3. That's the part number. Heard good things about it. Like I said, I'm not trying to go crazy with this car. Eventually, yeah, I would like to build it, but if I could stay right around 380, maybe 400. I mean, I think that'd be pushing it on stock bottom end, but we did run a compression test on it before we tuned it. It was 175 across the board, which I think is pretty good. I think it's got 147K on it. I got it with 144. So like I said, I've had it for about a year and a half. Oh shoot, coming up on almost 2 years I've had this thing. I did a lot of little stuff to it. I had to clean up underneath the dash. Big time from the dude that had it to wire in my wideband. I had to pretty much rewire the gauges. He had a whole bunch of switches in there, and I just had to go through it all. So it took me a while to get it ready, but yeah. Let's go ahead and get this stuff out of the way. All right, so we've got the intake out of the way. We've got the intercooler pipe out of the way. We've got the battery and the tray out of the way. I went ahead and took the linkage off, which is held in by two 12 millimeters. Hopefully you guys can see this. There's one here and one here. Take those two 12s out and the two little cotter pins, the linkage comes out. Just put that up out of the way. And then from here, basically, I mean, you're almost home free. You got the four 17 millimeter nuts that are, yeah, four nuts that hold the mount. Hopefully you guys can see that. This light's freaking bright, but my other light's dying. You got four nuts that hold the mount in, and then one 17 millimeter that goes through it that holds that mount in. Now what you're going to want to do is either option one is put a jack underneath and support the transmission, because you got to take that mount out, and the only thing that's going to be holding it is this main mount here. So what I got is this little engine hoist here, and that goes from strut tower to strut tower, and it's got a little J hook in it, and I hook it right here to this bracket on my intake. That supports the motor from the top, and also allows you, once you pull this engine mount out and all your bell housing bolts, two of those are your starter bolts down here, you get all your bell housing bolts out, it's ready to come out. And in order to get the trans out, you got to lower the motor down a little bit. And what I do is use the engine hoist. See, it's got this little J hook on it, and it's got a nut on it. What I do is I just turn that nut, and it lowers the engine down enough to get the transmission out. So that's pretty much where we're at right now. I'm gonna call it a night because I gotta go home. I'm beat. I hope you guys are enjoying this so far. This is one of my first walkthrough videos of doing anything on any of my cars, so if you guys like it, you know, should be comments. If you guys got some questions, if you guys want to know, you know, I've been through so much stuff with these cars, so I have no problems trying to help anybody out. That's what I'm doing this for. So yeah, hopefully you guys like it. All right, so I am back the following day. I got my bell housing bolts out. I don't know if you can see. There's one right there next to the coolant hose. Got another one right there. You got one right here, and it goes to this little bracket right here into the bell housing. And then you got a starter bolt here, a starter bolt down here, and then you got one more. You can't see it, but there's one more down here, and I like to leave that one in, and then the one on the bottom side, I believe it's a little 12 millimeter before I pull it. But yeah, see, I got my strut brace on. I got my little J hook here in my thing. I've got all four of the nuts off of the transmission mount, so as you can see, it's all loose. It's just supported by this thing here. Little blue point light is awesome. Got my Fab Automotive Live going. It's funny because I was telling them I was making a video on this, and quick shout out. If you guys haven't been to Fab Automotive, go check them out. What's up, dude? If you're watching this video, oh yeah. If you're watching, I know you're gonna watch this one. All right, so
Brian, how's it, buddy?
I'm gonna go ahead and pop this off. Of course, it's got a thing on the other side, so I was getting lucky. So basically, I'm gonna go ahead and pull that center bolt out, and then we're gonna raise the car up, and then get the last two bottom bolts out, and then we're gonna get ready to pull this thing out. Mind you, this is my first time pulling the transmission in this car, so we're all seeing this for the first time. You guys are seeing it with me. The guy said it had a heavy-duty clutch, and to me, it looks like a stock clutch. So maybe that's why it couldn't hang. But yeah, little tip for you guys that are pulling this transmission out. If you look at it from this side, this is where my axle was leaking. I got to clean the trans up. I got new seals coming. I'm going to clean this all up. But if you look at the transmission, that would be straight. So this diff sits right up in this pocket right here. And it's got to come, basically, you got to rotate the transmission this way and pull it out. So I do not recommend doing it on the ground because it's a pain in the butt. You're probably gonna need an extra hand. I'd have my brother come over here and help me. But yeah, it's gotta rotate clockwise a little as it comes out so the diff can clear this over here. So yeah, hopefully that helps you. And then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little 12mm bolts, and then the clutch comes off. Let's see what we got. All right, everybody. So we're gonna find out what we got in here together. It looks like it's already got a light flywheel in it. I'd be excited if it did. Oh yeah. All right, I'm gonna bring you guys in. Whoo, that thing is cooked. It is an ACT lightweight flywheel. Not bad, scored that one. This thing over here though, it's just a factory replacement clutch. Nothing heavy duty about it at all. That's all right. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get this off. We got 17mm. Pop those out, and then your flywheel comes off. While I'm in here, I'm gonna do some cleaning up. I got a little grease from when the axle was bad. I already replaced it, but I'm gonna go ahead and clean everything up that I can while I'm down here and inside of here. And then, yeah. What's up, everybody? Another day has gone by. It's been a long day. After hours, I'm finished up here at work, so I'm gonna do a little bit more work to the DSM. I'm waiting on some axle seals to come from Extreme PSI. So for now, I'm just gonna get the clutch fork, throw out bearing and everything and all that set up. I kind of wanted to just go over a few things with you for those who, you know, this is your first time doing it. There's a lot of controversy about, should I shim my pivot ball? Do I need to shim my pivot ball? You know, how does the clip go? Should I replace the clip? What kind of throw-up bearing do I use? Like I said, always use an OEM throw-up bearing for one. Always, no matter what clutch kit you get. Two, always replace the little clip. Even if it looks okay, just buy a brand new one. OEM. They're like $1 or something. They're really, you know, not expensive. As far as how it goes in, you could see. Hopefully this is clear enough for you guys. It clips in a little hole here, runs along the top, and it clips in the hole there. All right, now as far as the pivot ball, now this is the forged clutch fork and pivot ball from Extreme PSI. I think got it for about 80 bucks. I already put a little bit of lubricant on the ball. I cleaned up where the throwout bearing rides and put a very thin layer of grease on there. I'm using some Molly lube. Now as far as, you know, shimming it, my tuner told me to put a washer behind it. It's not that, you know, thick at all. But basically, since I had my flywheel machined and he said it was severely warped, the more material you take off of the flywheel, the further the clutch is going to sit in. So you want to make up for that. But basically, this is going to go in here just like this. Sorry guys. It's going to pop in just like that. Now, if you guys really want in-depth videos, check out Jaffro on YouTube. I will definitely, you know, put his YouTube name up in here. Jaffro Mobile, I believe that's what it is. He's got a whole bunch of super detailed videos. I mean, he's like a DSM guru. Learned a lot from him. But basically, Jack's Transmissions also has a great, you know, informative video on this. So here's the window. Basically, when you have this transmission bolted up in the car to the block, tightened down, you want your clutch fork to be either in the center of this window or just a little bit to the right of it. That'll allow you maximum throw and without you hitting the back here. So once you get it in the car and tightened down, it's either got to be dead center or a little bit to the right, more towards the engine block, and then you'll be set. You can kind of see up in there, right up in here, it was hitting the case from the previous owner, who sloppily had this thing thrown together. There was no shim on the pivot ball. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting this stuff in there. But yeah, that's basically, it's very simple. Next, I'm gonna get in here and replace the rear main seal. While you're in here, guys, while you got it all apart, I don't care if your rear main seal is not leaking. Replace it with an OEM seal. Do not go cheap, because you don't want to have to pull your transmission all back out because of a, you know, what, $20 seal that you could have replaced while you were here. That's just the name of the game. If you're here, replace it. So I'm gonna get you guys set up right here, and we're gonna go ahead and pop this seal out. Hopefully you guys can see this. Just gonna get in here and just pop it out just like that. Bada bing, bada boom. Also, while you're in here, clean up these threads a little bit, spray some brake clean if you got a thread chaser, not a tap, a thread cleaner. Go in here and clean all this old Loctite up out of these bolts, blow it out. Make sure that's nice and clean before you put your new bolts in with Loctite and go to torque them down. All right, so I've got my new OEM rear main seal here. Now, what you're gonna wanna do is, bring you guys over here, my little cart. What you're gonna wanna do is, I've got some dielectric grease here. What you're gonna wanna do is apply a generous amount, you know, on the inside, all around on the inside of the seal. Make sure you got some lubricant on there for when you first fire it up, you know, dry burn the seal. Let me get you guys set up right here real quick that are taking the time to watch this video. I didn't have really any of this learning on my first one, so oh, look at my big old dome in the way. Let's go ahead and move this maybe up here, maybe a little bit better. Let's see if I can get you guys a little bit better of a view. Need to buy a tripod. Yeah, it's not great. I'm gonna keep you guys right here. All right, so I'm gonna grab my little, and what you guys want to do is, what helps me is I kind of wiggle it back and forth as it goes on, and then it just slides right over, and you get it in there kind of evenly like that. One side's going to want to pop out more. I'll show you the tool I did. Sorry guys, bear with me. Alright, so basically what I got here, hopefully you guys can see, it's an old 3/8 extension, and I grinded it smooth to the point where I can get in here and tap it in just like this. Of course it doesn't want to work with me, so just like that. Hopefully you guys can see, now my arm's not in the way. And what you want to do is, you want to kind of, what I do is try to go overhang it. And once you hear the pitch change, that lets you know you're hitting that aluminum and it's in there, and that you're even. I don't know if you guys can hear it on camera. You hear that? That lets you know that you hit that aluminum. Pitch changed. Pitch changed. That's in all the way there. That's in all the way there. Then you just kind of all the way around. And that is installed. Just like that. All right, let's get ready to get this flywheel on.